The echoes of Kuchisake Onna. In a quiet village nestled between dense forests and misty mountains, there was once a woman whose beauty was the envy of all who laid eyes upon her. Her name was Akemi, and her allure was so captivating that men from distant lands would travel just to catch a glimpse of her. But beauty, as it is often said, is a double-edged sword. Akemi was married to a wealthy but possessive samurai named Hiroshi. Though he adored her, his love was tainted by an all-consuming jealousy. He watched her every move, suspicious of the admiration she received from other men. Despite this, Akemi found herself drawn to a kind and gentle man from the village, a stark contrast to her husband's cold demeanor. Their secret meetings were fleeting but filled with a passion she had never known. One fateful night, Hiroshi followed Akemi into the woods where she met her lover under the pale moonlight. Enraged by what he saw, Hiroshi confronted the couple. In a fit of uncontrollable fury, he drew his katana and attacked the man, cutting him down before Akemi's horrified eyes. Paralyzed by fear, she could only watch as the life drained from her lover. But Hiroshi's wrath was far from sated. He turned his attention to Akemi, his face twisted in a mask of hatred and betrayal. He bound her hands and gagged her, dragging her back to their home. There, in a cold, dark room, he exacted his cruel revenge. With his blade, he slit her mouth from ear to ear, ensuring that she would never again be called beautiful. Her screams were muffled by the gag, her eyes pleading for mercy that would never come. Hiroshi left her to bleed, her once beautiful face now a grotesque mockery of what it had been. As she lay dying, Akemi's heart filled with a deep, seething hatred. She cursed her husband, cursed the village that had turned a blind eye to her suffering, and with her last breath vowed to return. And so she did. It wasn't long after her death that strange occurrences began to plague the village. At first, it was just whispers on the wind and eerie rustling in the dead of night. But soon, people began to see her a woman dressed in a long, tattered kimono, her face hidden behind a mask. She would appear on lonely streets and deserted alleys, her presence heralded by the chilling sound of her geta sandals clacking on the ground. Those who encountered her would find themselves frozen in fear as she approached them, her voice soft and haunting. "Am I beautiful?" she would ask, her tone almost gentle. If the person answered yes, she would remove her mask, revealing the horrific, gaping wound that stretched across her face. Then she would ask again, "Am I beautiful now?" There was no right answer. If they screamed or ran, she would catch them, her speed unnatural, her strength inhuman. With a swift motion, she would carve a similar smile onto their face, leaving them to die in agony just as she had. If they tried to answer calmly, she would toy with them, prolonging their terror before delivering the same gruesome fate. Some tried to outsmart her by saying she was average or by distracting her, but it was futile. The spirit of Kuchisake Onna was driven by a rage that could not be appeased, a thirst for vengeance that knew no bounds. Over time, the villagers learned to fear the sound of footsteps in the night, the soft rustle of a kimono. They avoided walking alone, especially after dark. But even in the safety of numbers, there was no guarantee of protection, for Kuchisake Onna was relentless, her wrath ever growing as she sought retribution for the wrongs done to her. The village eventually fell into ruin, abandoned by those who could no longer bear the constant dread. But the legend of Kuchisake Onna persisted, passed down through generations as a cautionary tale. It is said that she still roams the streets of forgotten towns and lonely cities, forever asking that same chilling question. So, if you ever find yourself alone at night and you hear a woman's voice asking, "Am I beautiful?" do not answer. Run and do not look back. For if you do, you may become the next victim of the slit-mouthed woman, cursed to wander the earth in eternal torment, just as she does. And thus, the tale of Kuchisake Onna echoes through the ages, a reminder that some scars never heal and some spirits never rest.